Good day. It is, I'm going to say early afternoon, late morning. It's around noonish, thereabouts. It is July 20th, Tuesday, or Tears Day for those of you who are Norse or Viking minded type people. I hope I do attract some of you guys because I'm interested in the Norse mythology and Norse history because of, well, according to my DNA kit, I have Icelandic, Norwegian, Swiss, not Swiss, Swedish, Danish, German, Irish, Scottish, and British or UK in my DNA. Even though the strongest one is actually Northwest Britain or Northwest UK. No, Northeast. It's basically the part of my DNA that's British, which is like 26%, which is actually the highest one out of all the ones I am, was once actually controlled by the Vikings, known as the Dane Laws. You can look that up in history and it'll tell you more about it, or I will tell you more about it in the future. But the Dane Laws is a section of Britain that went from the northwest to the southeast, that was controlled by the Nordic people, and the capital was Jorvik. Jovik, something or other. I don't remember the full spelling because I just remember what it sounded like when I heard it, and I'm like, Jorvik? But Jorvik was their capital in the Dane Laws, and I can go through a whole lot of history right now about that, but ask me about that, the history of the Dane Laws, and I'll tell you what I've read. But today, or this particular video, I wanted to talk about American Cozy. Now, the whole time I was in Texas visiting or staying with our friend in Texas, I wanted to start, like, literally going off on how the apartment at the time, or whatever, was not exactly what I've been studying. But I was like, hold on, Jim. This is her house. This is her two sons. It's not my place. Because sometimes when I get impassioned about stuff and start getting heated, I don't know when to stop. But anyhow, we're talking about cozy cuisine and the comfort at the table. Now, if I read this already, I apologize because I don't remember where I left off because my bookmarks seem to be askew. Askew. So I was like, I don't remember reading this to the general populace. So like I said, if I did read this to you, I am sorry. Just politely let me know, and especially Nellie, Sheila, and Michelle Weeks. You guys have been pretty much my main advisors that I've been listening to the most, because the way you present your advice or your questions or whatnot have been more constructive and positive than just downright sounding like nagging. For those of you who have come forth and said polite things about, I think you've already done this, or double check your videos or something like that, I do listen to you guys. I listen to anybody who wants to come across as positive. Anybody who wants to come off as non-constructive or negative or nagging or just downright rude, 9 times out of 10, I totally ignore you. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just trying to say I'm sorry. I'm 50 years. I'm going to be turning 50 years old here in October. I have dealt with the deconstructive, negative, belittling aspects of life. I grew up in the military, and um, during my life, during the time that my father was in the military when I was younger, they did not know how to diagnose ADD or attention or hyperactivity or any of those psychological, however you want to put it, issues. So I have been called slow. I've been called dumb. I've been called stupid. I've been told that I will never reach my grade level, let alone be able to hold a job or do anything positive for the world. Um, it wasn't until my teens, when I got into high school, that the teachers in my high school in Arizona helped me realize that it's not that I'm dumb or slow or any of those things. They did help me understand what attention deficit disorder is. They did help my mom, because my father had passed away on the year before this happened. They did basically help me and my mom understand my issues and how to work with them or around them or deal with them. And by the time I got out of high school, I was reading, because this all had to do with my reading skills. Basically, by the time I got out of high school, I was reading college level materials on metaphysics and the supernatural. And that right there proved to me that the educational system, or some of the systems that are out there who want to slap labels on children and make them feel like they're not going to be able to accomplish anything, is bumpkus. You have to learn what that child is interested in, what will hold that child's interest and keep them focused on whatever it is. Unfortunately, in school systems now, or in educational systems now, it's that you can't, that the child will have to deal with subjects or areas in the educational system that they may not like, but they have to have some base knowledge on it just to pass, pass high school or the educational system. So one of my issues, and I still have issues with it, is reading because of dyslexia. And what my dyslexia does is it will either add a letter or take a letter out of a word, or even just jumble the word up so it looks totally different than what it really is. So I do apologize if I have some stuttering or I slow down my reading or whatnot, because I have to, I have to learn to work with it. I have learned to work with it. I just sometimes hit a new word or new subject matter that makes me go, I'm interested, but some of these words are a little complicated for me. And FYI, anybody who wants to take that information and try to use it to make me feel bad or put me down or whatnot won't last long. Anyhow, this is Comfort Cuisine, Comfort at the Table. Now, I've already read this, so I'm just going to go through and spot read some of the areas that I underlined, because I found this to be true. It seems to be very pertinent for a lot of homes. But anyhow, she goes to start out. For us, home craft meals are an afterthought. We snack too much, munch on the go, instead of sitting down and eating in a proper way. As a result, we often eat too much sugar or sodium or too many carbs and forget just how much we've already put in our bodies. The reason why I think she mentions sodium, salt, and carbs is because the factor too much sugars, too much sodium, or too many carbs can be detrimental and can cause future or further problems with your health. Whether it's like carbs, it will affect your joints. A lot of people who either have fibromyalgia or joint problems, doctors will tell them to lessen their carb intake, which means lessen bread, potatoes, things that are loaded with carbs. Same with sodium. My mom, she used to tell me stories about how when she was younger, her mom, my grandmother, who's no longer with us, used to have the three kids lick salt and like pour some salt, table salt, into their hands and lick it off because of its. Back then, it was believed that it would help with dehydration or whatnot because of the humidity factor. Salt, sodium, not always good for you. It's good for a little dash on your food to add flavor and whatnot, but to consume extreme amounts of sodium can be detrimental to your health. Same with sugar. Having too much sugary foods, beverages, snacks, things like that. When I was younger, this is me now. When I was younger, I used to eat junk food, candy, soda, cake, anything that was sweet, like it was going out of style. My father passed away because of diabetic reasons, because he didn't want to listen to his doctor. And I went, no. The way my father went out, no. No, I can tell you some horror stories about that, which, if you ask, I might. But I found out that the reason why basically he had to lose almost 2 limbs and pass away because of blood clots in his lungs, basically. I decided that when I turned 16, which was like the year after he passed away, it was the summer after he passed away. I turned 16. The summer he passed away, I was turning 15. Hold on, I'm thinking. Sorry. No, I was turning 16 the summer he passed away. The next summer, I asked my mom and my doctor at the time if I can do what they called a well, actually, it was suggested. I didn't ask. It was suggested that I take a glucose tolerance test, which basically tests your body's capability of dealing with sugar. So for a whole day, I had to drink these. Every hour, I had to drink these. Basically, it was like almost tasted like orange tang on steroids. Basically, a very sweet, potent orange flavor, and they would draw some blood and test it. Well, they couldn't get a baseline. Basically, I would go in there and it was like up, down, up, down, up, down. There was no baseline. They could not figure out what my problem was, and they said, okay, you can continue living the way you are, but we suggest you have your blood sugars tested every so many years. It wasn't until I was 30 that the doctor basically said, I was in my late 30s, early 40s. Doctor said, we're going to label you as hyperglycemic, which basically means just don't consume as much. So over the last 20 years, I have decreased my soda intake. I've decreased my sugary snacks. I've decreased all my junk food. And it's probably one of the reasons why I have only got a couple teeth, a handful of teeth left, because all the crap I've had. But yeah, just having too many sugars, too many carbs, too many sodium products, not good for you. Especially if you're one of these on-the-go type people who you're always snacking on a bag of chips or a bag of donuts or sweet pastries or something like that you can get from the convenience store. Not good. I would stop that stuff as quickly as possible or decrease it. What I've done is I've decreased it where I have one 16-ounce bottle of soda a day, if any, or one 12-ounce can a day, if any. Very little to no sugary junk food. I will have a yogurt or a cereal bar. The cereal bar is about the closest thing to junk food that I have. I try to limit my sodium intake to whatever is in my foods. Not a big salt person. Pepper? Oh yeah, pepper. Spicy foods. I love spicy foods. Then I also underlined down here that says, oh wait a minute. Yeah. When your focus is not on food, but on getting yourself somewhere fast because you're late. So basically, a lot of us will eat these quick to go, grab and go, convenience store type packages of food because we're just running late. So it's like it will fill us up. It will, satisfy our hunger. No, not always good. It's one of the reasons why me and my wife are trying to start or get back onto prepping, what we call prepping food, which basically means we have a bunch of frozen homemade waffles, basically waffles that we made here at the house in bulk instead of going out and buying a package of Eggos. We make a bunch of food in bulk so we can freeze it. Ow, I just bit my cheek. So we can freeze it, and all we have to do if we are in a rush or just don't know what we want and don't feel like making anything, we can pop it in the microwave, in the toaster oven, or whatever. Just like the brown and served sausages we're always buying for all these, is so we can have some protein with our grab and go, our homemade grab and go food. So we're not buying grab and go stuff except for during the road trip we did, and I was kind of like, I wasn't really wanting it. I'll go in and buy my soda and snack on whatever we put in our food baskets to come with us. You know. Okay. I am convinced that this whole concept of eating on the go is an American thing. Well, since I was never in Europe as an adult, I don't remember very much grab and go type foods in Germany when I was a kid. So I'm pretty sure she's right about that. We're the country of fast food, drive up windows, and snack-sized packages. Yeah, that's what we are. You know, between the extreme consumption of grab-and-go foods and the amount of trash that we create because of our grab-and-go foods, it's not only is it detrimental to our health, but it's detrimental to the planet's health. Because all those plastic wrappers, even though nowadays they're finding ways to create biodegradable, recyclable plastic wrappers, all that plastic is like one of the worst things to put in your garbage, because of the fact that it takes forever to basically biodegrade. It takes forever just to break down in the trash heaps and garbage dumps and places like that. Then the factor, if unfortunately a lot of places still dump heaps of garbage in the ocean, that plastic can kill sea turtles and fish and dolphins and otters and all kinds of aquatic life. It's the worst thing that mankind has ever made. The bottom here I underlined, your life will change in powerful ways when you commit to assembling some or all of your own meals. As somebody who does make my own foods for the most part instead of going out and grabbing it, once in a blue moon we'll have pizza night, or a night where we we decide that for one reason or another, it's easier to call for delivery or go pick up food from one of our fast food places, or one of the, excuse me, I've got a dry patch and it's once in a blue moon, treating yourself to Steak and Shake, Applebee's, Colton's. I'm just rattling off places here in town. Denny's or Pizza Hut, Domino's, places like that. It's nice to do that once in a blue moon. It's a treat. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself every so often, but don't make it a habit. Try as much as possible to make your own foods here at home. I tell you what, when me and Jerry sit down and do meal preps, not only is it one of those things that brings us together because we're working on something together, but the satisfaction of sitting down and eating the food that you prepped, that you and your, let's say you don't have a spouse, but you have kids and they're always in the house. having them sit down and helping you, you stand at the stove or wherever you're prepping your food, and having them get stuff out of the refrigerator or the spice cabinet if they can reach it, and just coming together as a family to not only are you showing them the responsibility of prepping foods and measuring the different ingredients and how to slice the vegetables or cut the meat in a certain way without getting harmed. It's not only is it educational for them, but to sit down and enjoy the meal that the family helped make is, I don't even know how to describe the experience, because it's just one of those. Not only is it awe-inspiring because, like, yeah, we made this together as a family, but the fact of the love and energy and whatnot that you put into making the food with your family, and then sitting down to eat that very same food, it's to me it's an indescribable feeling. And I encourage stuff like that because, like, not only are you bringing the family together for camaraderie and enjoyment of doing something that's going to provide nourishment and sustenance for you and the family, it's also a good time to sit down and teach your young ones the responsibility of measuring and making the food. And I know there's a lot of young ones out there like, but it's so much easier if we can just go to McDonald's or Taco Bell or... Now, teach them the responsibility of good foods. All right. This next part is basically a guide to choosing tableware. Now, I marked this one area because, in fact, a lot of people don't understand the need or feeling of choosing tableware that complements your home and makes it look like, oh, they took time to look at dishware or silverware or serviceware to not only make it look like a well-rounded home, but it's not just a hodgepodge of stuff that you picked up. And I learned this. It says, if you are building a kitchen that supports a life of comfort and ease, you'll want enough flatware, cups, plates, bowls, and glassware to serve a meal on and to have ready for entertaining. But not so many pieces that your home becomes cluttered. Here are some Hagee-inspired recommendations for building a kitchen that allows you to pleasurably create home-crafted foods. Watch the size. That's bullet point number 1. One of the easiest ways to encourage healthy portions is to use average size or even smaller plates, bowls, and glasses. Further, those 12 plus inch plates are impossible to squeeze into most dishwashers and often don't fit into standard size kitchen cupboards. Stick to dinner plates that are a maximum of 8.5 to 10.5 inches. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there going, but all the food that we make is too much for a 10.5 inch plate. We need 12-inch plates. No. I have platters for serviceware that are 12 plus inches. They don't fit in my kitchen cabinets. I have them in a drawer in this room in the hutch that we basically put together. My average, what we call football size, they're kind of elongated. They do fit in my kitchen cupboard on an angle next to my regular dinner plates. Or they are with the dinner plates. I'm sorry. It took me a moment to remember my cabinet setup. If you need, on average, a plate that's bigger than 10.5 inches, 1, you're probably eating too much. You're overeating. 2, there's no rhyme or reason why you can't take what you want to start with, a portion of Maybe you've got a giant Christmas party and you've got a whole buffet or a whole dinner table full of foods, and people have to come up there and do it buffet style, or all, yeah, buffet style, where you serve you go serve yourself and go sit down at a sitting area. There's no reason why you can't take a little bit of what's there, go sit down, eat it. If you're still hungry, come back and get something else. That's part of the reason of having smaller plates, to encourage portions, to encourage smaller portions and getting up for more. Because if you're hungry after if you're still hungry after your first plateful, there's no reason why you can't get up and get more. Just simple. I don't know. I guess it's not common if she's writing it in here, but what is common sense to me might not be common sense to another person. So, hey, there we go. Do not overbuy. To avoid kitchen clutter, watch out for twosies. For twosie syndrome. Think you need 2 different versions of the same item, such as 2 types of tumblers, 2 styles of bowls, and so forth. In Denmark, something must be functional in order to be considered beautiful. That's something that I've been considering around here, because yes, I've got a lot of stuff on display, and for the most part, other than my German wine glasses and certain fragile wedding glasses, the crystal wine goblets and glasses and whatnot that I have on display can be used. It's also beautiful. So it functions as both decor and usable items. A lot of people will go for the twosies. Basically, ooh, I can buy 2 for the price of 1, so let's get 2 different items. Or the Dollar Tree. Ooh, I like this plate and this plate. Let's get both. Don't do that. Unless you know that the 2 different items are going to function or be functional without overcrowding your cabinets, there's no reason for it. Let's see here. Find pieces that function in many food-oriented situations. So basically, if you're going to be going for whatever you're buying for your kitchenware, make sure it's functional. Not only will it be functional for food service or food-oriented operations. Hey, I know people who have six different service plates because they have 3 people that live with them, and the one person I'm thinking about has the 6 different plates, and each plate is the same make and model but different color. She even says that's okay. In fact, I think I'm about ready to read it. Choose one type of dinner plate. Skip the salad plate. In other words, skip the smaller plate for salads, because you can, what does she say here? Limit yourself to one type of bowl. A low bowl can double as a salad plate. One type of drinking glass. One size of wine glass, and one type of cup or mug. So basically, she's saying, let's say, like when I went out and bought my own kitchenware when I was living on my own for a short period of time, I bought 2 plates, 2 bowls, 2 drinking glasses, and 2 mugs. That served me by myself quite well, because then I had like 1 in reserve. So if, let's say, one day I use up 1 group of kitchenware and either did not get to cleaning them, or later on during the daytime when I needed to eat off of a plate or something like that, I had 1 in reserve. The reason why I only bought 2 of each is because the fact that it forced me to keep my dinnerware clean on a daily basis, instead of letting them sit in the sink or dishwasher waiting for me to run the dishwasher. Now granted, that means my dishwasher was about half full or half empty, however you want to put it, if I had a dishwasher. In fact, I don't think I had a dishwasher. I think I had to wash everything by hand. So it's one of those things that you don't want to buy too much that you're overcluttering in your kitchen, but at the same time, you don't want to buy multiple different items. In other words, you have a different style bowl compared to your plate, or a different style drinking cup compared to your mug or wine glass if you drink out of a wine glass. It's just, it keeps it from being cluttered. That, in fact, when you buy similar items or identical items and you buy multiple of each, they're easier to stack in your cupboards. Let's see here. Choose your color and patterns wisely. Look at your tableware color palette and design. Does everything work together? If it doesn't, you'll be tempted to purchase and store another set of tableware just for entertaining or for holidays. Don't do that. Make sure it's functional all year round. My wife unfortunately has items for serviceware that are for different holidays. She's got an autumn one, a Christmas one, an Easter one, and a fall one. Fall kind of gets used for Thanksgiving. I don't see the purpose of it, but we found a way to store it without making a clutter or an eyesore or anything like that. Besides that, she's had it for a very long time. There's only a couple items that are new. Make things easy on yourself and make sure all of your tableware is complementary, so it can be used for every occasion. So basically, you don't want something that looks like it's designed for the fall and you're going to be using it for 4th of July. Most of my serviceware and whatnot that I have for everyday use is white. Just plain, simple, white Corelle. You can never go wrong. Yeah, I just said this. You can never go wrong with all white dishes. Although any one or two solid colors can work. For example, my dinner plates and teacups are lime green, and my soup bowls and saucers are tangerine orange. Nothing wrong with that. She likes green and orange, so she chose those colors. Next one is all your dishes, glasses, and utensils should be dishwasher safe. Yes. Bone china edged with 24 karat gold is stunning, but it is not practical. On this, Danes and Americans agree. Items that don't make extra work for you and your guests are more functional than high maintenance items that require fiddly care. Basically, what I think she means by that is fine care, handle it with kid gloves, that kind of thing. Besides that, who would use bone china with 24 karat gold for serviceware? That might look like a nice, fancy, decorative piece to put in your china closet, but it has no real function in my brain. Open stock may be your best option. Many companies sell place settings. While convenient if you're trying to reduce clutter, these pre-made options may add to the chaos. Instead, go open stock. Buy individual pieces instead of purchasing an entire pre-assembled plate setting, and choose only what you need. Basically, instead of going and buying, like Walmart sells it, I've seen an 8-piece dinnerware set. Basically, within that set, you've got 8 dinner plates, 8 bowls, 8 cups, 8 saucers. You know, you've got a bunch of stuff that you may not need. Let's say you're a family of 4. Now, the 8-piece set might be good for you because then you have an extra set on the side instead of having to wash your plates after every meal. The downside is if you do not have the space to store all that pre-assembled place settings, you're creating clutter. You're creating chaos of trying to find out where you're going to store it, how you're going to store it, and make sure it doesn't fall out of the cabinet and break, or sitting out on the counter, on top of the counter because you don't have space in your cupboards. it is best to just go in and buy maybe 8 plates, maybe 4 bowls, because not everybody will use a bowl. You don't need the salad plate, because if you got a small low bowl, you can use that as a salad plate. You don't need all that extra. It's best to go in and pick and choose, because like Dollar Tree will have they have a section where you can go in there and pick individual plates and saucers and bowls and cups and glasses without having to buy a pre-assembled place setting. Next one is use the same tableware for every dinner and special occasion. In other words, you don't need a separate set of special dishes for holidays. Stick to the same tableware for all occasions, from weekend wine and cheese with your book club to family breakfasts to formal holiday dinners. Opt for something you love that can be dressed up or down using napkins, tablecloths, and centerpieces. You'll save space on storage and keep a clean, neater home. I like that idea. I really do. Excuse me. Let's see. The next bullet point is buy what you need. I think we've already covered that, but I'm going to go ahead and read this. Purchasing sets of 8, 10, or 12 is the norm, but your needs may be different. Are you a couple who hosts monthly 10-person dinner parties? A family of 4 a family of 4 whose home is holiday central for the relatives? A dedicated singleton who hates the idea of having more than 3 people in your apartment at any given time? Consider what you need to support your daily eating and entertainment habits. Simple. Pretty simple. Excuse me, my ear is itchy. Dry skin, that's why. Sorry, folks. TMI. Next one is but do not buy more than you need. Anything you buy you must store. Anything you buy, you must store. And by store, I don't mean in a special closet in a back bedroom somewhere. If you don't have enough kitchen cupboard space to house your dishes, limit yourself to only as many place settings as you have room for. You can always rent tableware if you are throwing a large dinner party or holiday meal. Or like some of us in America, go out and buy disposable plates and bowls and silverware and stuff like that for parties. That way you don't have to worry about renting anything, which means paying out money for rental or worrying about cleanup. Because a lot of places that you rent partyware for, you have to basically keep clean and maintain. You can't take it back to them dirty. So if you're having a large family gathering or party or whatnot, sometimes it's smarter to just go out and buy styrofoam or paper plates and bowls and plasticware. You can still use your serviceware and whatnot for servicing the food, but as for eating utensils and bowls and whatnot, sometimes it's smarter to just go out and buy some. I know for some people who live out in the country, it's kind of hard to do because they don't have regular trash pickup. I know I had, I don't know if they still lived that far out in the country. I had a group of family members who lived so far out in the country that they did not have trash pickup. They had to basically take it to the designated dump site or recycling center. So a lot of times styrofoam would not work for them, but they would use paper plates and whatnot because they can take the paper plates and put them in a burn pile. Plasticware and whatnot, they would put in the garbage can with the non-burnable refuge and take it to their local dump site in the back end of a pickup truck. Let's see. Last one is keep all your tableware in your kitchen, or if you must, your pantry or dining room. If you have more dishes, silverware, and glassware than space, or if you are tempted to keep items in the back room mentioned above, your tableware is not. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Your tableware has stopped being useful and is now clutter. I agree. The only reason why I agreed with Jerry Ann to use the our setup in here for her party wear or tub or whatnot is because, one, we don't use it that often, and two, it gives it a place that it's not clutter. Sorry, really bad today. It's not clutter because it's not out in the open causing an eyesore. It's put away. There have been times where I've tried to convince Jerry not to keep it because of the fact that if we're not going to use it, why are we keeping it? And her rebuttal is, well, we might end up using it one day when we have a bed and breakfast or stuff like that. You know, get visitors, people who are staying for a longer period of time in the future. I don't look that far ahead. I sit there and go, well, we've got enough serviceware and platters and whatnot in our kitchen, in our cabinets in the kitchen without creating clutter. We don't need all these specialty dishes. I can't get my wife to change her mind. It's fine, dandy. I don't argue with her because the fact that it's put away someplace that it's not an eyesore. So I work with her. She works with me. We try to find a common ground. Now that is that for the serviceware. This next section that I'm going to read probably tomorrow is on keeping and displaying produce. And she runs down a list of ways to keep produce and how to make it nice and whatnot. And minimalist cooking for maximum effort. Then after that is a whole bunch of recipes which I may or may not try. And if I go to try them, I will try to record them. Because there's a couple recipes on here that sound really good. So the next portion we're going to get into is about the cooking aspect and the food aspect. And all the fun stuff about that kind of stuff in the kitchen. So, yeah, we're going to get into that tomorrow or the next video, whatever you want to call it. Sorry that this video is 45 minutes long. Sometimes reading from American Cozy does that. That's why I've been trying to keep my extra information or extra comments to a minimum. I know most of you are like, oh, that's fine. We love listening to you. It doesn't matter how long your video is. You know. Thank you. I do thank the people who feel that way. But I noticed that the longer the video is, the longer it takes to process and download and all that fun stuff. But today's going to be, there's a couple little things we're going to do, but for the most part, today's going to be a day of relaxing. Tomorrow, I want to talk to Jerry about it because it really depends on how we feel. But I know one of the things that she wants me to do today is dealing with the IKEA king-size mattress and getting the QVC king-size mattress off our bed because it's too squishy for her. It's a little too squishy for me, so I don't know. I don't think she gave it. I think what happened was the first day she tried to sleep on it, she practically fell off of it because it was too squishy and it nearly rolled off the bed. And right there and then she was like, nope. And I was like, I haven't had a single problem yet except for maybe waking up with my normal back pains, but that's just normal back pains. I don't think it has anything to do with the mattress. I think it has to do more with me. So, don't know. I don't know. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about the American Cozy book or anything of that nature, go ahead and put those in the question comment box. Those of you who know me know that I enjoy sharing this information with you guys. I've had one or two people ask me what is going to be my next adventure after I'm done with the book. As you can tell with where this bookmarker is, I'm a little past halfway, or just about halfway. I don't know, because I got 3 new books while down in Texas on Norse mythology and history. I've got so many books I could be reading and so many things I could be doing that I don't know. I think when I get down to the end of this book, I might ask if anybody has any ideas. I know a lot of people will be like, "Hey, it's your channel, you do you." I almost feel like, because the way my brain has been lately and the way the world is looking lately, I may be cross-comparing the Bible with the stories of Ragnarok, or what Ragnarok is supposed to be like. Because, I mean, we've had some weird stuff going on, and I'm going to apologize again because this video is getting longer and I'll have to redo my exit. Either that or I'll do a third video about what I'm thinking, because, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Those of you who are interested on my views of what's been going on lately, and comparing Revelations to Ragnarok and to various other end time stories I've heard, let me know and I'll do a video on that, because the last year or so the world has been tossed into some weird, chaotic, almost biblical type stuff, and I've been gathering a lot of information, and I think I want to talk about it because, in fact, it might seem like doom and gloom and whatnot, but at the same time it's kind of like, what is going on? Are we approaching the end times? What's going on? All the chaotic, weird stuff is... Yeah. Anyhow, let me go ahead and redo my exit. My exit. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about it, or want to remind me about talking about my thoughts on what's been going on the last year or so, go ahead and put that in the comment box. If you're new to my channel and want to hear anything from American Cozy to Norse Viking mythology to my take on what's been going on in the world compared to all the end time stories, let me know. But if you enjoy those kind of topics or whatnot, or want to hear my versions of certain things, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And once you do that, a little bell will pop up. You click on that bell, and YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. So until next time, you guys have a good day. Enjoy. Bye.